Welcome back, people. Today for this vlog we're in a small town village in South Wales in the Merthyr Tydfil district, Aberfan or Aberfan as people call it. So we'll go in because it's quite busy here by the road and we'll have a quick chat. Welcome back. Hey people, right, so like I said, today's episode is coming from Aberfan Cemetery in the South Wales Valleys. The cemetery that we're currently in was built in 1876. It was later extended in 1913 with Bryn Taf Cemetery being added. Both cemeteries are Commonwealth war graves, Aberfan holding 12 graves and Bryn Taf holding 18. There's a military monument in the Bryn Taf section to 7 soldiers that in 1888 drowned in the Bristol Channel. Now, I couldn't find much information out about that, but there we are. So, grimly, Aberfan Cemetery is most notably known for the disaster which happened here in 1966. 21st of October 1966. A time that's been locked in people's memories for the horrendous disaster that happened here. It was 1966, 21st of October. It'd been raining heavily in the valleys for several weeks prior to that. Aberfan predominantly was a mining town. The local pit here had used the various mountains around as spoil tips. There were several of these tips high up on the mountains, and the one that's concerning us today is tip number 7. Now, unfortunately, this spoil tip from the mine had inadvertently been placed on top of a small spring as well. These factors came together to a devastating conclusion. The previous evening, the 20th of October 1966, it had been noted that spoil tip number 7 had sunk 9 to 10 feet. This was noted and the decision was made to address it at a later date. Nobody knew the dire consequences of that decision. Okay, so if we fast forward to the next morning, around 9:13 on the 21st of October 1966, the spoil heap number 7, the previous had sunk around 10 feet the night before, broke free through liquefaction and made its way down the hillside. In its path were several farm cottages, various village houses, a junior school, and next to that a secondary school. The spoil heap built speed of estimated between 11 and 21 miles an hour and grew in height. Again, it's estimated that it was travelling around 20 to 30 feet high and contained upwards of 140,000 cubic yards of material. This was a land tsunami. It washed through the 2 cottages and several of the village houses, obviously killing everybody inside. This thing was unstoppable. The children in the junior school had literally just sat down at their desk, and the teachers had just started taking roll call, we'll call it, because there was thick fog all around. They couldn't see, anybody could see what was coming, but it was noted that they could hear a loud rumbling noise that grew and grew and grew. Then at 9:15 the slurry struck the junior school, almost completely covering it. It did as well damage the secondary school, but it's the junior school that took the brunt. It's quite harrowing to think that these children, most between 7 and 10, had no idea what was coming. There are reports of one of the teachers, I think it was a headmaster, using a blackboard to shield himself and several of the children in one of the classrooms. Unfortunately, none of them made it out. There was Nancy Williams. She was a dinner clerk, to me or you, a dinner lady. She shielded 5 of the children with her own body, hugging round them. When eventually they were dug out, the 5 children miraculously survived. Unfortunately, Nancy gave her life to save those children. It's incredible to think the fear that must have been going through their minds when this took a couple of minutes at the most. In all, I want to get my notes so that I get this right. By 9:25, the local police in Merthyr Tydfil were notified, and obviously all hell broke loose then. 106 school children in total was killed. 28 adults, 5 of which were teachers. In total losses, Aberfan suffered 144 deaths. Now instantly, the minute that the authorities were notified, and obviously the villagers knew what was going on, people came from everywhere to help, try and rescue, try and dig. Even my father, who worked at the time for a local builder's merchant, has told me that they sent men over with a lorry to help dig. Many were digging just with their bare hands, feverishly trying to get through to anyone that survived. Some did survive and were taken straight to hospital, but as I said, most had no chance. So later on, after the bodies were recovered, there was a temporary mortuary set up in Bethania Chapel here in Aberfan. Okay people, I'll be quick, I haven't got my mic on or nothing, but this is Bethania Chapel, or what's left of it. This is the chapel that acted as a mortuary in 1966. There's a path up the side. It's dilapidated now. There are calls for it to be turned into a historical building, and after what happened here, I think that's right. Something should be done, just to pay respect to the little ones whose lives were lost here. As you can see, his roof's caved in. There was a fire in 2015 that destroyed it, basically. Yeah, sad to see, and to think so many of the dead were brought here for for the parents to bear witness to. Begs belief. Fast forward a few decades and there was a memorial garden built, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. Notably, Her Majesty the Queen, who's now passed, did visit the memorial garden with Prince Philip and planted a tree in memory of all those that lost their lives. And then in 2016, Prince Charles, King Charles now, visited here at the 50th anniversary of the disaster. So we'll have a walk around, we'll take some pictures as respectfully as we can. This isn't a normal Cemetery Chronicles vlog. This is notably one of the most touching I've been to. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so we've had a walk up through most of the cemetery. As you can see, we are on quite a steep hillside. The graves finish at the tree line behind. And then behind me is the graves of most of the children that died in the disaster. These arches were renewed, I think it was 2007-ish, with white granite, specially imported. A fund was raised. They did have arches before, but they've renewed some of the arches. Just a few, age 10. Frederick, age 9, 10, 9. There's a few together here. As I said, I'm not going to do all of them. It's age 10, 10. And there's 2 rows of these arches. At the end is the memorial garden. We'll go and take a quick look at that. Age 10, 11, and it just goes on and on. I don't know what the significance of the South Africa is. Watersrand Cambrian Society. Barbara, aged 9, who died at Pantglas Junior School disaster at Aberfan. And some pictures there of those that died. You can't imagine what it must have been like. So I'll carry on, have a walk around, and then we'll have a look in the garden. There's a cross inlaid with all the names of those that lost their lives. It's very touching, very moving. We're now in the memorial garden. This was built at the end of the row of graves and arches for the children and the adults that died. So I think out of respect, we'll take a little walk around the garden, we'll leave the birds sing, and we'll pay our respects to those that lost their lives. Okay people, so I'm going to call it done for that vlog. I hope you respectfully enjoyed the vlog. I'm just trying to bring awareness to these cemeteries, these disasters. There's a lot of forgotten and memories being lost really. But anyway, on a lighter note, I hope you enjoy these series of videos. I hope you click like, maybe subscribe, all that good stuff, icon bell. I do try and get these videos out as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe people. Peace out.